Sensitivity is intelligence. With grace and skill, you have abundance. Welcome to the Psychic Hour. Host Kelly Brickle is a psychic medium, numerologist, healer, and teacher. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether through spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, there is always a pathway of information waiting to help. Now, here is your host of the Psychic Hour, Kelly Brickle.
Oh gosh. You know what, today, thank you for letting me know you can't. I don't know what the energy is about today, but that's okay. That is okay. So everything I just said, y'all didn't hear me. So I want to say hello to Arnie, to Dominate, to Angela, to Jeffrey. Welcome back. We had 2 shows earlier today, so thank you for coming back with me and us today. We are so grateful for you to be back with Sacred Spiral Network. And we have the wonderful Nancy Lombardo here today. She's a woman of many talents. She's the president of the Church of the Living Spirit in Lilydale. She's a retired detective, and that is in quotations, retired. So she's still very active and passionate with, I'm sure, every way she can help. She's a yoga instructor. She's full of zest, zip, and activity in the field of wellness and health. She really is. So thank you for everybody for helping me out with understanding I keep meeting myself. So thank you, thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. Hello, Colin. Great to see you. Hello. Hello, Mandy. Again, thank you for your help, everybody. Hello, Angela. Hello, Jennifer McCormick. Thank you for coming on back. We had the earlier shows today, so I see familiar faces. Thank you with Embracing Infinity earlier, and also Lynn's show, Kaleidoscope of the Soul. Hello. Hello, Anessa. Hello. It's nice to see you again. Okay, so yes, we are diving into the Psychic Hour, and we are going to be talking with Nancy in just a second. Hello, Jennifer. It's all good now. Thank you, Arnie. I appreciate you. I really do. And we kind of open up this space with the topic of the day. Sometimes it's short and sweet, and sometimes it's more in depth. And so within the spirit of sweetness, I was really guided to wear the color purple. It looks a little red on me right now, but wear the color purple, even pick the color purple, and like the lighter shades of purple, the violets, the softness of life. And there are certain vibrations that we like crave. There are certain vibrations that we gravitate to, whether they're our favorite color or we just really want to, be in that that day, whether it's, oh, I want to, sit in this color chair, or wow, the blue sky is just really invoking me and taking me in. Whatever it is, Color is healing. Color is luminous. It is full of energy and information. And the color of violet, and you can say that even violet has many shades. It There's a healing and there's a femininity and there is a true sweetness when I see violet. The softness of the purple lends itself to the imaginative realm. It lifts the physical, the weight which is on the physical up and out, and reminds us that we are so much more than it. And it helps us transcend. And so, whether it's a certain color that has caught your eye today, or if you'd like to join us in the color of this violet purple, this luscious purple in the background, please, in meditation or when you're going to sleep or when you just have a moment with yourself, close your eyes and fill yourself up with purple or any place you are in pain. If it is your hand or your knee, or your ankle or your neck or your back, any place, fill it up with purple, shine light with that of purple and violet, actually, especially, and see if the feeling becomes lighter, and the pain even subsides or changes. Um, Within the illumination of the energy that we walk in and we carry, we really can change our state. So, whether it's the physical, it will soften it, or the mental to enliven and open it, just see how it feels. I invite you to try out some violet today. Short and sweet, but meaningful, please. Please know. Okay, so hello, Jennifer. I love all the Jennifers. Hello, hello. Thank you for being here. Just Jennifer Andrews, Jennifer McCormick, Jennifer Rose. Got to acknowledge all the Jennifers. Hello, thank you. Hello, Mir. Thank you, thank you. And Cindy, happy Friday to you too. And Ava, welcome. And Crick, hello, Crick. I haven't seen you in a while. Hello. So without further ado, yeah, purple is a great color. I agree with you. I'm going to bring in Nancy.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, yes, thankfully. Yes, the gift of sound, please.
I wasn't sure when you were talking in the beginning. I thought, am I supposed to be hearing her or not? And then someone was like, we can't hear you. So I thought, okay. I got that right.
I should have known. I don't know why I didn't catch it, but here we are. And thank you for your easygoingness.
Divine timing.
Divine timing, exactly. How is your divine timing going this week?
You forgot to make mention that purple is the crown chakra.
Yes, it is.
Self-knowledge. So
It is. Purple is so many beautiful things, and it's, we access, right, the jewels of the lotus with purple, the divine knowledge. Would you like to talk about the crown chakra? Are you inspired to with how it resonates with you?
It just made me think when you're talking. I love the color. Also, there's some kind of soothing to it. Even though it's such a powerful, the crown chakra is such a powerful chakra as far as, like you said, the wideness, the vastness of the knowledge and our knowledge, and I love it. But that was a great color. Just makes you feel good looking at it.
It does. It does. I used to actually be very like I would gravitate towards white and working with white a lot, just because it's like lightning. I like working with like lightning. Just it's pretty, It just feels good. And then I started kind of bringing more purple in. I would naturally, sure, but I just started using it, and it had just a whole different type of feel and clearing to it, even though white is just as beautiful in its own right. I don't know. I sometimes like to give purple an extra, just what's up, thank you.
I love that. That's funny.
I'm a little bit quirky, so bear with me. I appreciate it. So, Nancy, I want everyone to get to know you. So, everyone's saying hi, and we're going to formally introduce Nancy, whether you know of Nancy or this is the first time you are learning about her. Without further ado, Nancy Lombardo is a Lilydale resident and also the president of the Church of the Living Spirit. Nancy served in the U.S. Army as a military police officer and then segued into civilian law enforcement, where she served on the Lawton Oklahoma Police Department. Nancy is a retired detective after 32 years in career in law enforcement. As a detective, Nancy specialized in the monitoring of registered sex offenders, narcotics, human trafficking, and internet crimes against children, and was also an advanced hostage negotiator. Prior to her retirement, Nancy was awarded the Silver Patrick Henry Award from the Military Order of the World Wars, the highest honor that can be given to a non-member civilian in recognition of her law enforcement work in the community. She now presents and lectures on these areas of expertise at various venues across the U.S. Nancy also volunteers as a listener for the nonprofit crisis line, COP Line. Nancy is an ordained minister at the Church of the Living Spirit and is a member of Lilydale Assembly. And in past, the president of the Association of the Oklahoma Narcotic Enforcers and member currently of the Fraternal Order of Police and the American Legion. Nancy is a certified yoga instructor, wellness coach, crystal bowl sound intuitive, marathon runner, poet, and photographer. For more information, you can check out her Facebook at Wellness with Nancy Lombardo, where her motto is protecting and serving your well-being. Welcome, Nancy.
I didn't know you were going to read all that. It's almost embarrassing. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. No, that's you. We're here to celebrate you. And that's why you're on the show, so people can, just hear what a full life is and that of service in the heart. So thank you for doing all that. Thank you for being you.
Thank you. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I feel like I've done a career of service, and then it was such a natural segue. When I retired, I was just lost. I'm so used to having that service to people, and I don't know how all this Lilydale thing came about because it was quite by accident, but in the same token, it was all purposeful, and it's very rewarding also to have a career of service in this kind of environment, which is totally different than my police work. They're just so opposites.
It's very different. If I may ask, how did you get into law enforcement?
I believe it or not, I wanted to do it when I was in junior high school, and as a female, there weren't a lot of females in law enforcement at that time, and I've always been that person that wanted to do different jobs that would that other females didn't do. I mean, I was that person. Just like I was an MP in the military, in the Army, and there weren't very many female MPs at the time also. So that started it off, and then I don't know, I saw it on TV and I thought, I want to be that person. It was like that.
And as you became that person, I mean, my goodness, you are an advocate for people. And were you just impassioned to go, if I can do it, I will. If I can help, I'm going to go do this. Like, there's so many things you've done as a person of law enforcement, so many roles.
Yeah, that's the truth. In all honesty, my family, we had a suicide when I was very young, at the age of 9. And that suicide really set the trajectory of my life, because I think it also was a reason why I went into law enforcement. It was something our family didn't talk about, something we really didn't deal with. And I really felt like I wanted to help people. Not that that was going to be the only thing we deal with as police officers, because there's so much more in the spectrum, but there was a lot of that, to say the least. Attempted suicides, depressions, check welfare on people. And that was really the main thing that I wanted, was to be able to help people at their most critical times in their life.
The most critical, yeah. Wow. My goodness. What is something that stands out to you when you cross the threshold to take on more responsibility within that work?
What do you mean by that?
When you decided to be a part of, like, going after sex traffickers, for instance.
Mhm.
What made you decide now I'm going to fight for this group of people?
Well, I was originally did 15 years of straight patrol work, and I worked in an area that was very drug infested and invaded, and so I liked going after that particular segment because it's just there's so many people right now it affects, as you know, it's affects a lot of people. And so I was assigned as a detective to what they called the special operations section, which we worked narcotics, we worked sex offenders. It was all kind of like you see on TV, the SUV unit. It entailed a lot of different things. So being assigned to that unit, there was an opening to work with the registered sex offenders, and it interested me because I was in charge of monitoring their whereabouts, and I thought that was an important thing to do to make people feel safe. So I took that on, and at one time I was in charge of monitoring 110 sex offenders. So
Wow.
it's a big task for sure.
What is that process, if I may ask? Like,
Well, a lot of times they'll get out of jail, the penitentiary, and they have to check in with their local police departments. And then there's areas they can live, there's areas they can't live. They have to check in either every 3 months, every 6 months, or once a year. And if they don't, they could be subject to arrest. So, as I was very fair with them, they also knew that if they didn't do what they were supposed to do, they would go right back to jail again. I was very strong about that.
so did you have just a file of all these people? And
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You have to interview them one-on-one as they get out. And I did that for a long period of time, and hearing all the different offenses that they did, I mean, you can only imagine, with that many, dealing with that many people, there's so many different crimes that they did to put them in that predicament to have to register as a sex offender. I decided that I wanted to start being on the other side of that, to find the guys that were doing it originally and put them in jail. Because it's just this relentless cycle. It's a very bad, relentless cycle. And I wanted to get on the other side of that cycle. And that's why I started the Internet Crimes Against Children and working with the human trafficking.
That's a feat. It's amazing. And you said that even though you're retired, you're still active.
Yes. Yeah. I still teach a lot of different classes or workshops on my areas of expertise. Next month, I'm actually going to be in New Orleans presenting for the Concerns of Police Survivors Conference on suicide. So I have a whole workshop I present on that, going from my childhood all the way segueing into police work and actually into the work I do now. The healing process of that all, because it is healing. You have to heal from that, and it's something that follows you throughout your life.
And so then when did the healing come in, and when did you start going into spiritualism and spiritual development? Because, right, those are, I can understand how the worlds go together, but they are two different worlds. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
they were two different worlds. And when I retired, I was in Oklahoma many, many years, and I came back here to New York because this is where my family was at. And I was lost. I mean, in all honesty, I was absolutely lost. We were talking before, being a police officer, it's in your blood. My blood runs blue. It'll always run blue. And I didn't know who I was without being a police officer, in all honesty. And I had known about Lilydale because it was 20 minutes from my house when I grew up, but we never came to Lilydale because I was raised Catholic. So we didn't come to Lilydale. But right after my mom died, me and my sister came right here to Lilydale because we wanted to get a reading. And we were quite impressed with the reading. And she's still a registered medium here today, the lady we got the reading from. So every time I would come back home from Oklahoma, I'd always come through to Lilydale. I'd always drive through. I was very intrigued by it. And when I moved back here, I wasn't here in Lilydale. I had a house on the lake. But I've started taking mediumship classes because I was very interested in how people become mediums. So I started coming here to take mediumship classes with Reverend Judith Rochester, wonderful medium, they call her the medium, beautiful mentor. And, learning that we all have the gift if you choose to find it and discover it and go into that right side of your brain. You can only imagine my job as a police officer. I was left-brained a lot. So I was also very creative, though. I've always been creative. I've loved to write. So I had that right. It was just a matter of developing that. And I remember driving out of here one day thinking, I'm moving to Lilydale. And it was just like that. It was never anything planned. Anybody that ends up here, I don't think I'm going to move to Lilydale. That's not really how it works.
And to move to Lilydale, you have to be very active in the community. So what then was that next step where you're like, I'm not just going to maybe move to Lilydale on that whim, but you're like, I want to, get into mediumship and, be a part of this community and help people spiritually and with, healing and sense of self and peace.
Right. I remember Judith, it was like the first or second time I'd come to her class, and I was walking out the door and she was looking at me like, welcome home. Like she saw in me that what I hadn't seen in myself yet. And I probably had mediumistic abilities since I was a child without realizing it after the suicide, because I always felt the presence in our house. I always felt it. It scared me. I didn't know what is this? I didn't want to feel it. Because it scared me. And honestly, my years as police officer and some of the scenes we went on, I'm very empathic and I could feel things deeply. But, when you're working and, you can't allow yourself to have those feelings, you got to shut them down really quick because you're working, right? So I think that side of me was always there. It was just a matter of developing it. And when I came here, you have to be a spiritualist to live in Lilydale. And I was lost, and I joined the Church of Living Spirit because I was actually looking for a community. I was looking for friends. I was looking for like-minded people. And I have to admit that probably my entire time and career as a police officer, I would probably turn agnostic, because seeing so much horrific stuff you see all the time, I just didn't really believe in anything. I didn't think there could be a God that could let such horrific things happen. I didn't understand. It was just hard. It was really, really hard. So coming here and learning about spiritualism and them allowing me to be able to believe in the God of my own understanding, was a huge stepping stone for me. That I could see things the way I want to see them. I could believe things the way I want to believe them. And that really set my path to be able to be here and become a true spiritualist in every way, shape, and form, and to start getting involved in the community.
If I may ask, since you said your views were close to agnostic, what then happened within you to lead you to a sense of a God of your own understanding?
I think I always had that because I told you I was raised in such a strict environment of Catholics. So, the religious part of me was there at some point. It's just, it wasn't going to be that religion. I'll just say that. When I came I had no idea what spiritualism was. I had no idea what Lilydale was. I really didn't have any idea what any of this was. So walking into the building of the Assembly Hall here, the first thing I remember seeing is they have a stained glass of an Alpha and an Omega. Well, my dad used to be a welder, and he would weld those signs.
Wow.
So I saw that as a clear sign, first sign. The second sign, the very first time I was at church, our organist, Margaret Ferris, was playing Blowing in the Wind during the offertory. And that is one of my most all-time favorite songs. And I thought, this is crazy, And then they read a set of principles, because spiritualists, we do not have a dogma. So they read the principles, and every single principle they went down and read, I thought, I could wrap my mind around this. I mean, I was really living the life of a spiritualist my entire life, my entire career, without even realizing that it had a name to it.
So it felt natural. And
very natural. Yes, very natural.
A progression of, okay, I can do this. This feels right. I want to sink my teeth and my mind and my heart into this a little bit more.
And I love the spiritual healing aspect, of being a spiritualist. And I must say that I believe, and many people might not see it this way, but police officers, in and of themselves, a lot of us, we're healers in our own way, shape, or form, in a different sense. Okay, like I told you, you're with people at their most critical time in their life when they need you the most, and you're there, even if it's for a split second, but you're there as a part of some sort of healing, however you want to envision that as. So this felt like a natural progression to be able to do it in a different environment and with different energy, of course. And it's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. When you were a police officer and detective, your intuition, even though your feelings weren't at the forefront, it was being utilized.
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%. And I know a lot of police officers do not like to use the word psychic or even refer to that kind of word, but I promise you, call it intuition, call it what you will. When your hair stands up on your arms, you got to trust all that. It's the same kind of trust. It's the same kind of trust, and trusting your own instincts for sure saves a lot of lives.
What were some of the signs that you were getting when you were trusting your instincts and intuition?
Just different things. Like I worked 15 straight years of midnight shift. So
Whoa,
yeah,
whoa.
yeah, but I'm a night owl, so that was a good thing. So we had a lot of like chases. We had a lot of, fights. We had a lot of running on the ground, and it was a lot of scary times working in the dark, for sure, that you can't normally see during the day. And so those kind of scenarios, to be able to just trust, if you go around the corner, what's going to be around the corner, what's not going to be around the corner, whether you go around the corner, things like that. You got to remember, most people, when you even see it on TV, most people are running away from stuff. Cops and police are running right into it, because it's natural, it's instinctive to do that, to run in and help, and it's not innately in a lot of people to be able to do that.
Yeah, you have to be okay with a certain level of adrenaline, I would imagine.
Yeah, no,
There's
that's true.
that,
Mhm.
and be okay with a certain level of just you can't plan. You can't plan in that. You can't plan in most jobs, sure, but this is on another level.
Right.
And you're showing up going, I don't know what's going to happen today, but I'm putting myself in front of the situation.
Well, I was telling someone that the other day, when you get up for in Lawton 28 and a half years and you wear a gun as part of your dress, it puts you in a whole different mental mind. And there were many times, many times, I would put that gun on and think, is today my day? Am I coming home tonight? You would have to be willing to accept the fact that you're going to live or you're going to die. So to talk about that, for me, almost feels natural. Then a lot of people aren't so comfortable in talking about that. But you have to be okay that if my life ended today, I led a good life, and it's okay.
How did you live your life like that with that sense of peace and acceptance?
It sounds weird to say, but it became my normal.
Yeah.
It was just
Um,
so you
since
live
it
your
was your normal, how did you live life outside of work then? If I may ask, with that sense
oh,
of knowing.
marathon runner, that adrenaline seeking person. I was, I didn't have especially as a detective, because a lot of times we were on call, so we worked a lot of hours as detectives. We had very big caseloads. But when I wasn't working, yeah, I was out running. That was my biggest thing, was I was a huge runner, and it was a big release for me, for sure, to be able to do that. Stress reliever, for sure. And down the road is when I actually started yoga. Someone had suggested, 'cause I remember my caseload on my desk was just huge. And sometimes I'd go to work and I literally felt like I couldn't breathe because I had so much to do. And I thought, so someone's like, well, why don't you do yoga? And I was like, oh gosh, yoga, I can't do yoga. Just like ex-nate it. And I went and tried it one time and I thought, it was cool. I loved my instructor, and I think that's key, to be able to find a person that you resonate with and that teaches the yoga that you want to do is key, because I loved her. We connected. She was a great instructor. So much to the fact that I continued yoga. And when I actually moved here to New York, I actually couldn't find the kind of instructor that I wanted to learn from. And that's why I went and got certified to be able to teach yoga the way I learned it and the way I wanted to teach it.
That feels right. Yeah, you're honoring the quality of what you experienced. And what is your favorite way then to teach healing now, if I may ask?
Yeah, I would say it's not donkey yoga, it's whatever they do.
Because this, I think it changes, right? So some years people are like, I'm really into yoga right now, or I'm really into the sound healing part of my journey, or I'm really into, again, what's the most pertinent right now with everything that you do?
Yoga's really big right now. And I have to think that I've been teaching it at a gym here locally for 4 years now. And I have a solid group that stays with me for sure. I definitely incorporate the meditation for sure, the breathing, the movements. I incorporate it all because it's so important, the mind, the body, the spirit, to keep those aspects, to honor those aspects. I remember when I first started my little group, they couldn't hardly sit still for like 2 minutes for meditating. They're just like, couldn't sit still, didn't know how to. And now, they're 5, 6, 7 minutes. They're out. Sometimes I bring a bowl to class with me and I'll play the bowl for them. I've really opened up. I feel like I've opened them like a lotus, their awareness and their insight, and they've truly gotten to appreciate yoga at its core.
I could use a good stretch of the body. It is invaluable. Oh my goodness.
It is invaluable. You're right about that.
I mean, my intuition is 10 times better when my body is centered and grounded. And I'm sure you notice that as well. It's a whole nother world of how you can use your brain.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. I mean, very, like you said, when you're balanced, and I preach that all the time, being balanced and balancing your life, even the simple breathing, the box breathing. Take some moments in your day if you're just feeling out of sorts, or to take some moments for yourself, even if you just sit still. It's fine. There's so many different ways to meditate. And I would have to say my favorite way, probably not like most people, but my favorite way to meditate is when I go out running. I used to run, especially when I trained for marathons, I always wore music. So go out and do a 14, 15 mile run. It's just like, But now I got to where I don't run with music because I really am trying to listen to nature. I'm trying to listen to myself. Even the repertory sounds of your feet moving. And I really have found that I can write my best when I write a lot of poetry and I love to write. And the thoughts come to me when I'm running. And at least now I've gotten into the habit of stopping, recording it, because I swear if I don't, I forget it. And it sounds beautiful. And if I don't say it or put it somewhere, it's gone. It comes that quick. But it's really become my favorite way to meditate.
Running, it seems like there's a part of you that has such zen in moving then. Because with the things, you're always keeping busy. It's like who you are. It's how you, you're a walking prayer through that.
I'm going to backtrack to something you said a little earlier. When you're talking about being a police officer and that adrenaline, and what really happens with police officers, it's those endorphins. And most people, our endorphins, most people maybe go 20, 30%. Police officers are like way over the top. They're endorphins. You go on these high stress calls, you go on shootings, you go on those. It's way over the top. It's an endorphin level that you can't even imagine. And sometimes I remember when I was on those calls and I'd get back and trying to write a report, I didn't realize how hyped up I was because I couldn't even hold a pen. My hand was shaking so bad to even try to start a report. So I think what happens after you retire, they said you're always chasing that endorphin. You're always, because you'll never get it again. You're always trying to chase that level of high you used to be able to get when you worked, and you can't get it. So what do? I run myself to the ground, or I try to get myself amped up to be able to feel that way, but you just don't. So.
But I mean, my goodness, you're working with even though it's very much a part of you, you're working with a different level of, I'm going to say, instead of endorphins or adrenaline, but a different type of high and ascension.
Yes. Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah. It did. I had to develop that. I had to learn that there is a different type of way you can feel an ascension like that. Exactly. You're exactly right. Yeah.
It's still very, I want to learn more about the endorphins side of life. I've never run a marathon, and that's exhilarating, I've heard. And so you're full circle. My goodness. There's so many lovely comments. I want to bring them up and bring them forward. People are appreciating the service that you have done. Jennifer is saying it takes a special person to work the job that Nancy has. God bless you, Nancy.
Thank you.
For real. Cindy, your desire to help overcame the fear. Amazing. Many people don't appreciate that aspect of our public servants. You're Cindy again, and Evelyn before said that. Cindy said, "You're a very inspiring person, Nancy. Can't thank you enough for your duty to this world." Colin, thank you for sharing your journey, Nancy. Incredible.
That's sweet.
Absolutely.
I think people that say, if you don't think police officers get afraid, that's totally wrong, because there's not one police officer that can't say that they haven't been afraid, in my opinion, because you get afraid. But the thing of it is you have to go through that fear. You have to be able to work through and go through that fear. And that's a whole thing in and of itself. And I think that's really what separates many people for who can be in that position as a police officer, and even the military. It's the same kind of scenario. You just have to be able to go through that fear and be able to work and be in the right mind. And it's very, very tricky and hard.
Yes, I can only imagine. How did you make it become your norm? Because you wanted to do this, so a part of you is very open to situating in this, I guess, stress or even fear. But what really made you go, okay, this is me doing it now. I've integrated it.
And I didn't even realize I had integrated it that much, in all honesty, that it became such a normal part of my life until I retired. And like I told you, I was just like, I was so lost. I was just so lost not doing it. What I loved about police work, number one, was I'm not a person that could sit in an office. I didn't like to do that. I like to be outside. I'm also not a person that likes it. I mean, I like routine, but as far as working, I loved going to work and never knowing what was going to happen. What are you going to get into? Everything could change in 1 second. So I loved that aspect of it also. And just the people. I mean, I've met so many different people in so many different walks of life, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the mixture. I appreciate everything about people, their brokenness to their strengths. I appreciate everything, and it has taught me so much.
What are some of the most inspiring cases that you've been a part of?
Inspiring? Whew.
For
Well,
you personally.
aspiring to me probably wouldn't be aspiring to somebody else, because
That's what
I,
I'm saying, for you personally. That's why I was like, oh, wait.
I have to be a little careful on how I say it, because I worked some pretty big cases, especially with some people that are now in jail for sex offenses. So it gave me great pride for my victims to be able to put these people in jail with convictions to protect the victims. Because when you're walking around afraid as a victim and you know your perpetrator's still out there, it's a horrible life for you. It's just a horrible life for you. And sometimes these cases can drag on 2 years, every bit of 2 years. And until that person is actually, putting those handcuffs on and they're going to prison, you can finally breathe and give you a tad bit of relief. So that has always been a good thing for me, to see the victims through and give them some kind of closure.
Yes. Can only imagine. Again, you've worked with helping a lot of children too.
Well, when you work internet crimes, okay, internet crimes, child pornography, that kind of stuff, I'm not going to get into a lot of detail, but there's a lot of victims out there that are just faceless, and not a lot. There's thousands of children out there that are still not rescued, that are still in horrific situations. So I must say, in working those crimes and in seeing a lot of these faceless and nameless victims on the internet that are forever out there, it really tears your heart out to know that they're out there still.
Yes. Yes. But all this effort is changing the way things are handled online and changing the way that parents understand what the world is like, and even kids understanding what the world is like. It's
Yeah,
making a dent.
yeah, I think it's making a dent. But man, I mean, technology is moving so quickly. You know,
It
and AI is just, you can't even keep up with it. You just cannot keep up with it. So it's very dangerous also. It's very dangerous.
I trust that you hear still stories now of things that go on.
Yeah, totally. Yes.
With AI, if I may ask too, what are some of the things coming up that you've heard of?
Well, I was actually doing some research for my presentation next month, for my suicide presentation, and there was some disturbing things. There's actually a lawsuit now against one of the AIs, because, and I read the whole thing. They had it in the news that the kid was talking. It was a kid under the age of 18 talking with AI, who was basically telling him how to go about killing yourself, and it was just horrific, just
Yeah.
horrific. And thinking, because sometimes, the pandemic caused so much isolation with people, and people ended up staying in this isolation rather than getting back. I mean, many people got back out there again, of course, but a lot of people ended up staying in this isolation, what's turned into a dangerous thing. And now they're having conversations with AI, thinking it's a real person, and it's not even, because it can feel like a real person. They're talking to you back and forth like, gosh, giving you advice and this and that, and you could feel like it's a real person, but it's not. And it's a very, very critical point of what's real and what's not real.
Yes. Yes, there's so many even prompts where, you know, they can be right there, the person, but they can change the appearance, the voice, whatever they need to do to get to their end.
Right, right.
And the stakes are so much more complicated with what, how the pressure can be applied with how some people can get what they want now. And right, yeah, oh my goodness. On the healing side, um, you are a sound healer, and so you use crystal bowls. And how do you facilitate that space for people?
Yeah, I started that Actually, I became a spiritual healer first, um, through the church. And we have the healing temple here in Lilydale for people that don't know. And believe it or not, our healing temple draws in more visitors probably than people that come here for readings. People love spiritual healing. And it really surprises them, I believe, when they go into the healing temple and a healer will spend 3, maybe 4 minutes with them. And sometimes people that haven't had that experience, I see them walking out of that healing temple just like, oh, what hit me or what just happened? And they don't understand it, but they know they like it. They know they like it. It did something to them. It moved them in some way. A lot of times people compare spiritual healing with Reiki, similar but different for sure. So like I told you, it felt like a natural segue for me to go into the healing from a police officer. And then the crystal bowls, I was just still, in all honesty, I think I ended up here in Lilydale to heal myself from my years of working as a police officer. And I had built up such a strong wall. I mean, I still have such a strong wall that a lot of times I don't feel things. I don't let myself. I don't know. I don't even know where all, you ask me questions and I'm like, I don't know where that's at. It's tucked away somewhere. It's just tucked away somewhere. So I got the bowls, I believe, initially as a way to start further healing myself. I'd done research on them. I was very musically inclined since I was a child. I learned how to play guitar, self-taught at 5 years old. So I'm very musically inclined. I love to sing. So the bowls felt like a natural progression for me. And I started playing with them, moving with them, using the energy with them. And I like the way they make me feel. So I intuitively work with the bowls, and I intuitively work with the bowls with groups also. Kind of like reading the room as a medium, same thing. And I feel like they've done not only wonders for myself, but I know they move people. Like I said, they go through those chakras and they can really move that energy and move places that might feel blocked. And I love them.
Do you find that you mix any hands-on healing or other modalities with the crystal bowls when you hold space for people?
Yeah, not so much hands-on healing, but it's definitely, like you said, it's holding that space. I told you we're doing a sound healing tomorrow, and we're completely sold out. I have a friend, we do it together, and I've already been down there today, clearing the space. It's setting the intent of the space, um, and it's a whole thing before people actually come in to make sure that it's all perfect and ready for them to come into that space of intent and clearing, and to be able to allow them to lay down and clear their minds and use it as healing for themselves.
So even though tomorrow's sold out, where could people come and be a part of the next one?
Well, we are doing our next one not until December 12th. Will be our next one.
Coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up here in Lilydale. We're calling it the Holiday Harmony. What's so cool about myself and my partner Ashley, she has bowls, I have bowls, so we do dual sound bowls, and it's a very unique experience for people. And on top of it, having it here at the Assembly Hall in Lilydale, which is a historic building to begin with, and the energy inside that building is just so undeniable. It's so undeniable. So sometimes I just, you like touch those bowls and they're the energy is just swirling all over that room. So it's a very powerful experience there. You've been in the Assembly Hall, haven't you?
Yeah. It's every place in Lilydale has its own liveliness.
True.
And even more with adding energy constantly to it.
Right? Yeah. So it's a lot of energy to hold. It's a lot of energy to deal with. I'll just say that it's a lot of energy. So you have to be careful with that. And then when you're bringing all these other people's energy too, it could be very overwhelming. By the time I'm done with those, normally, I mean, I'm wore out. I am wore out for sure. It zaps me of my energy doing it. But
You
it's a
get
good
a
thing.
workout too.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good thing. Not a bad thing.
Colin has a question too as well. He said, very interesting with overcoming fear, Nancy, regarding your work prior with being a police officer and active. Many people in the spiritual space encounter having to overcome fear to work with spirit. How did you find this aspect when you came into contact with spirit?
Yeah, the big word on that, of course, we all say it, is the trust. I've never felt a fear with spirit. I did as a child. Remember, I talked to you. I did as a child, but in growing and during my police work and in seeing, being with people as they died or died, it was a privilege to me to be with them in those last moments. And so I didn't ever see spirits as anything to be fearful of. I think, and even in my house here, a lot of houses in Lilydale, they're like, oh, they got people. My house has always had such great, beautiful energy here. It's just never been an issue for me to be in fear of spirit. Now, have I not trusted my intuition and trusted what I'm hearing or trusting what I'm feeling? Yeah, I do that. But that's on me. That's on me because I'm not trusting myself and what I'm feeling. When you know what you're feeling is real. That's something we deal with, isn't it, Kelly?
Yeah. What the subtlety of how that can come to us, or the new ways that can come to us. It's always not foremost testing us, but it's always pushing us to grow with what we really believe we are and can be, and it's mind-boggling.
Right. I agree. You're such a beautiful old soul.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I love talking about things like this, and I love, talking about the walking embodiment of how we are choosing to live our lives. Um, because if you're showing up, and you don't know what's going to happen next, whether it's in your job, but you've prepared in other ways of what is morally right to you, what is of your value system, what is of your personal just convictions. um, you are truly living life, and you are, if whether you have the definition of or not, depending on who's listening, you're enacting spiritual principles, you could even say, when you're not concerned with that, you're living it.
Well, one of the principles, of course, when I first walked into the church, love thy neighbor as thyself. It's a beautiful principle, and it's one I've carried with me throughout my life. I really feel that. And I took it definitely as a police officer. I always wanted to treat anybody, no matter you're a prostitute on the street or, a city council person. It didn't matter. I always wanted to treat you the way I would want to be treated. And I've carried that principle throughout my career, throughout here. It's one of the most important ones, I think, especially with everything going on in today's world, to just treat everybody and to treat them with love.
With all the different people that you've met, what has stuck with you? With, I want to say particularly with what they've taught you.
But yeah, it's so interesting. I've had a couple women actually reach out to me on Facebook and have messaged me of people I've worked with in the drug world back in Oklahoma, of a difference I've made in their life. And like I said, I think it just goes back to that word of love, because I really think it is the interconnection of everything and everyone, no matter how lost you are, no matter how worldly you are. If you can find that place and space of love in the person, no matter how lost they are, you will truly have that connection with people.
Beautifully said, beautifully said. our time on the psychic hour goes so fast. It really does. Please, everybody, you can connect with Nancy on her website, wellnesswithnancylombardo.com. And also, it's coming up in December, so might as well promote it. Your sound bowl healing class in Lilydale. And again, what date and time is that if anyone is curious in the area?
Come to Lilydale, December 12th at 7 p.m. We're open year round.
I don't know what's going on year round at Lilydale. I don't. So I'm just like, ooh, there's the class. Like, spread the word. Please.
And my Facebook page is Wellness with Nancy Lombardo also. So reach out, say hi.
And we have links in the comments so you can find Nancy through Facebook. And are there any other social media platforms where people can find you additionally too?
Instagram, it's nancy.k.lombardo.
Instagram, nancy.k.lombardo.
Yeah. One of these days I'm going to get my TikTok going. I got the psychic cop. I just haven't pursued psychic cop.
That's great. I mean, you can do all the platforms as psychic cop. That'd be fantastic. That's fun. I haven't done TikTok. I haven't. One of these days. So I'm right with you on that. I always give guests the last word. So whether it's off the cuff, a favorite saying, something you wish to share from the heart, what comes to mind before we leave?
Well, I would just like to share about you because you have such a beautiful energy. And I used to love that you love so much. You knew so much about numbers. I was so impressed with you. And I appreciate you having this forum and informing people because it's important. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I will take the good vibes. I'm very impressed on just how you're an advocate for helping people and just being a protector. Like, woo-wee. It's awesome. Thank you for coming on. I'm sure you'll be back in the future. You're always welcome if you'd like to come on back in any capacity. Sometimes we have fun here with interacting with the audience with readings, and sometimes we just tell more stories on sharing from the spirit. So please know that you're welcome. And everyone is saying hi and goodbye and waving. Michael is saying TikTok is draining and exhilarating at the same time. He's a medium. We love Michael. And Jess, another medium. Oh my goodness. Thank you, everybody. With that said, please check out Nancy on her website and platforms. Say hello to her, interact. We will see you next week on the Psychic Hour. And until then, please go with love, luck, and light. And don't forget to live. Thank you again, Nancy.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Bye. Ooh, buttons. My buttons. It's not letting me hit the button. Oh, now it is. Wait, today. Bye.